Hi guys, I'm Lag Dr. Clay Ballard, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. This week's PGA Tour winner is Scott Stallings. We're going to analyze his swing. I've had the privilege of playing quite a bit with Scott, probably 8 or 10 rounds. He played at Tennessee Tech when he's in college, and it's the same conference that my college was at Eastern Kentucky University. Scott's a great player, and he can really move the ball when he wants to. That's what we're going to talk about today, is long drive, not necessarily rotary swing fundamentals. We're going to talk about if you're the kind of person that just wants to bomb it absolutely as far as you can, get the most distance that you can. We're going to talk about a few keys that will be different than, say, typical rotary swing fundamentals to help you get maximum distance. So this should be a pretty cool video. Alright, so as I mentioned, we're going to do a little bit different video. We're going to talk about just raw speed, raw power, and how the similarities between what you'll see with Scott Stallings and a long drive guy are, and how that would all tie in with the rotary swing. And the three keys that we're going to focus on are speed, a positive angle of attack, which is going to give you a high launch, and minimizing spin. Those are the three keys to really bombing drives, hitting drives well over 300 yards. And let's start out with some club head speed. And you know, as we mentioned before many times, a great key to this is having a lot of lag. This is what you're going to see with all long drive guys. You'll see a Scott swinging down here, you know, big angle between the right forearm and this club. So he's really built up a lot of lag as he starts the downswing, and actually increasing lag as he starts the downswing. And on the website, this is what we call the downcock move. And we have a video on this in the downswing section. That's really going to help you to build lag. And you'll notice that these players, they're actually increasing that downcock as they start their downswing and increasing the angle between the right forearm and the club. You'll see that with both players here, Jamie Sadlowski on the right and Scott Stallings on the left, and that's allowing them to save up tons of energy as they're starting their downswing and saving that up for impact. Now that's going to allow for some more club head speed. Definitely going to allow for tons of club head speed. In Jamie Sadlowski's case, he's getting about 150 miles an hour. Scott gets pretty fast club head speed too. As I mentioned, I played with Scott quite a bit, and if he wants to rip one, he can definitely do so. And then as it gets down to the bottom of the swing, really letting that snap through to release that at the last second and get that whipping action as he's coming through impact. Same thing you'll see with Jamie, getting that whipping action. Now, a couple of things that would be different. You know, we're going to talk about a positive angle of attack and how that can help you to launch the ball higher. Let me go over real quick what spin loft is and how that can affect your distance. So if you can imagine, as I swing down through impact, if you're looking at Jamie here on the right side, my angle of attack is just the angle that the club is coming into the ball. So if you imagine the sweet spot of the driver, is it moving perfectly level through the ball? Is it moving on the upswing, or is it moving on the downswing? And that's going to be what your angle of attack is. Now, in Jamie's case, he's going to have a positive angle of attack. And what this means is, as this driver's coming down, I'm going to mark the sweet spot here frame by frame. You're going to see that he's actually catching that ball on the upswing. So his club head is actually heading up as he's hitting that ball, which is giving him a positive angle of attack. If you can pair up a positive angle of attack with a little bit of, not necessarily forward shaft lean, but lower loft, then that's going to give you a very small wedge here. So imagine this bottom line is your angle of attack, this top line is your loft, and that's going to give you low spinning, high launching shots. So let's imagine this is level with the ground. So that would be positive angle of attack and low loft. Now, vice versa to this, it would be a high spin loft, which would be bad for drives. Remember, whenever we're trying to hit a long drive, we're trying to get very high launch and low spin. If we had a negative angle of attack and more loft, you can see that that would create a bigger wedge, more spin. The shots would start off lower and spin more. So both of these players are creating a pretty level angle of attack, or even a little bit of an ascending angle of attack. And you'll see the same thing with Scott. Now, one thing I would disagree with on both of these of how they're helping to create that. You can notice how the left side of their body is leaning back quite a bit. You'll see that with Scott. You'll see that with Jamie also. Now, this can help you to create that more positive angle of attack, as I was talking about, get that club swinging on the upswing. But it can also hurt the back. One thing that I want you to be very careful of, anybody that's out there that's trying to get this higher angle of attack, if you do hang back a little bit, you can create a more positive angle attack, as both of these players are doing. but be sure that you don't get your hips too far forward. If my left leg is more on this angle and then my hip socket is there and my upper body is really tilted back like this, I'm going to create a lot of curvature in the lower spine, and that's going to create a lot of stress in the lower spine. You could possibly injure your lower back and create a lot of strain on it and get a lot of pain from that. One thing that they're doing is they're staying back is you'll notice that their left ankle, their hip, and the shoulder are basically in a straight line. So not only are they leaning back with their upper body, they're leaning back with the entire body. And then to compensate from that, remember we talked about if we want to get that low or that high launching, low spinning shot, we got to get some more forward shaft lean or decrease the loft. And you can see that here. Notice the angle between the right forearm and the club is very big angle late in the swing. That's allowing him to take some loft off this driver. So instead of having loft that's high like this, he's de-lofting that driver, and then, as I mentioned before, hitting a little bit on the upswing. So it's high launching, low spinning. Now, what I would recommend for those of you that are looking for maximum distance, and you still want to protect your hip, you want to protect your lower back, you don't want to have a lot of back pain and that kind of thing, I would recommend putting the ball just farther forward. And that's one thing that you'll see Jamie that does well here, is he's hanging back trying to get that positive angle attack. The farther we move this ball forward, let's imagine that the ball is up here on this red line and we got it teed up really high. So for those of you, again, we're just talking long drive here, we're talking maximum distance. Now as he's coming through, look how much more positive angle this would be as he's swinging through the ball. Now he would really be hitting up on it here. His angle attack would be very positive, and that would allow him to get some maximum distance. So he could probably even get a little bit more positive angle attack than he's getting now, and he could keep his left ankle, left hip, and left shoulder stacked like we recommend in the rotary swing. So if you want to watch that, I mentioned the downcock video before. We also have the impact alignments face on that'll go over how to stack these joints so that you limit your back pain. And then if you want to hit it longer, move the ball a little bit farther up, aim a little bit to the right. That's going to square up your path, and you're going to be able to get all the advantages of this without the strain on the lower back. So that'd be something that's really cool for you guys that are wanting to get, you know, maximum distance, do some long drive stuff, but you don't want to tear up your body in the meantime. And then of course the release too. You know, that's a big thing with speed. That's something that you're going to see. You know, Scott does very efficiently here. He's got all this lag, and I love his release. How his arms are very straight, nice extension. And this has come all the way through and created this really long, wide release of the golf club. That's great, something you're going to see with all really good, consistent, great players. Jamie, not quite as good on the release. He definitely gets a ton of power, but he's just maximum effort. You can see the left arm's bowing, really ripping through there just with everything he has. That's why he's not, I guarantee you Scott hits a lot more fairways than Jamie does. But I would mimic something along the lines here. We have a video called the Long Arms Chicken Wing video that's going to help you with that. So I'd recommend that you guys watch all those videos to help improve your distance, but do it the right way and don't put any stress on your body. Alright, so for those of you that are joining us on YouTube, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Go ahead and click the like button if you enjoyed this video. Post your comments down below. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that I get. And I'm going to attach a preview this time of a video called the Downcock video. It's going to talk about this angle that Scott created here, you know, as he's increasing this angle to help improve his lag and improve his club head speed. It's really going to make it a lot of fun when you start bombing those drives out there. And I'll show you how to do it the right way. Show about 30 seconds of this video. If you want to watch the full thing, click the link that pops up in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You can sign up for your free membership, watch that entire video, or if you're watching on a mobile device, you'll need to click that link down in the description. So good luck to you guys, and I'll see you all soon.
One of the most common and frustrating experiences for golfers is losing power. As they come down the swing, they lose their wrist angle, and so we call this casting, kind of like similar to how you'd cast a fishing rod. Last thing you want to do in the golf swing is cast it. So as you start down, what most amateur golfers do is they throw the club right from the top. So by the time they get into impact, the club head's passing their hands, get a lot of chicken wing action if they're really right side dominant. They're scooping the ball, they don't ever take a divot, and they hit the ball really high and it doesn't go anywhere. What you need to realize is that lag is the most important part of the golf swing. Everything that we've done to this point in building yourself a proper backswing, proper setup, learning impact alignments, is to make impact more consistent and controllable, but also to give you more power by teaching you how to maintain lag. And so I've got a drill for you today called the Downcock Drill.